Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Hi, Crystal. Happy to see you in the chat. Happy Sunday. I hope you were doing well this Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. Hi, Frederick. Frederick is on it. He said it's rise and shine. It's time to grind. Okay, Frederick. We're going to let you grind. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope everybody is well today. This is our last Sunday together in 2024. Not our last Sunday together, period, but 2024 is rolling on out of here, even though it seems like it just rolled on in. All right. I am going to get started in just a minute. We are having storms in the area, so hopefully won't have any power concerns. Good afternoon, Deborah, Tamara. That could be Tamara, one of those. I hope I got it with one of those. Good morning to you. Hi. Happy Sunday, Viola. Happy to see you in the chat. Roslyn. Happy Sunday. All right. So today we are wrapping up the year. Good morning, Judith. Hi, Sophia. Wrapping up 2024, prepping for 2025, and as we've talked about going into 2025, we know that we are focused on our peace, preservation of our peace, hanging on to our joy, all of those things. And one of the things that I wanted to chat about going into 2025 is home, creating home, making sure our home is a place of healing and a place of peace, because that's always important to kind of set the tone for everything else. And so, absolutely. So I wanted to talk through all of that. And hi, Robert. And share some ideas and get some feedback and hopefully help us get set ourselves up successfully for a great 2025, or reset if we need a reset. That's always a thing that we talk about, resetting ourselves for 2025. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. Before we get started, I'll do my intro. As I always introduce myself, my name is Jewel Pearson. This is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. And as I introduce myself, I always say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2025, 2015. I built it in 2025 in the future. Y'all bear with me. I built it in 2015 because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And once this video is live on YouTube, you will find links to schedule with me in the video description below. And then as I'm doing that, I serve up a lot of representation in the movement along the way. I want us to see ourselves in the tiny house movement. I want us to be in the movement. I want us to be successful in the movement, and I want us to share those joys, our successes, and then our challenges so that we can navigate those as well. If you find this information in the video helpful, you need to do like Crystal has advised. You need to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it, support it, do all of those things, and then turn on the notifications so that you'll know when content is live and available. All right, good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody. Happy to see Buenos dias, Tracy. Happy Kwanzaa, L. Hi, Carolina Care Community. Good morning. All right, so we are talking about um, creating our home as a place of healing and peace. Gonna share some tips, and I know you all have some tips. Hi, Audra. We've talked about that on this ongoing because that's so important for your home to be that sanctuary, that place of peace. And so, one of the main things we talk about in creating that home is the first thing. The kind of the bigger thing is decluttering. And when we talk about decluttering, we're not necessarily talking about minimalism. We're talking more about simplifying, removing things from your home that might cause stress. Um, when you reducing chaos, when you think about decluttering, a lot of times our home can be chaotic, and there are a lot of benefits to reducing um, clutter, minimalizing clutter. Studies show that they to do so lowers your tension and anxiety. You end up being a calmer and happier person. It improves your sleep, your self-worth, and it boosts productivity. I can speak to it for sure when my energy is off. I've shared this with you all before. My home is a reflection of that. My home is off. If my energy is off, my home is not as organized as it normally is, and it's just a reflection of my energy. So reducing the chaos, absolutely, Crystal, reducing the chaos is a big piece of decluttering. It doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, becoming a minimalist, but it does mean letting go of stuff. And we often talk about if you don't love it, if you don't need it, if you don't use it, then you probably should let it go. We've talked about techniques for doing that for your clothing. We've talked about that for, just overall things. And when we talk about decluttering, I always remind you, we're talking about people, places, and things. Like decluttering, getting rid of chaos, reducing chaos can be applicable to stuff. It can be applicable to people, places, and things. So it's just not the stuff in the house. And so let's talk about decluttering as the main piece of creating that home of peace and healing. One of the things that can be big for creating that home of healing and peace is your overall mindset. So if you work outside of the home, maybe consider putting a ritual in place that if you've had conflicts at work or conflicts with people, you leave that outside the home. Like even if you have a ritual where you're actually leaving that at the door so it does not go into your home. Consider, like, maybe you have a bench outside your door and you sit there for just a few minutes and decompress, and you leave all of that stuff, that chaos, outside of the home, and you don't take it into your home. And it might sound hokey, but our energy from stress and conflict absolutely will rub off into our spaces, and so we want to be mindful of that. So considering the conflicts and the things that you might have going on outside that you don't necessarily want the energy of in your home. Also consider your tech use, your use of technology, TV, your phone, your conversations, the conversations that you allow to happen in your home that might bring chaos, might disturb the peace of your home. There's so much going on in the world, and you can't completely disconnect from it, but you can monitor what you allow to be in your home. And I've spoken about um, people who I think mindlessly just have the TV going all day. I've spoken about how dated guys who will watch Sports Center all day long. And, after you've watched at least 2 rounds of Sports Center, you know everything that they're saying, and they'll just repeat it the rest of the day. That type of mindless noise. Or I have an aunt who watches the news, the channels that run through the news all day long. That, while it seems like it's harmless, you're absorbing that mentally, subconsciously. You're absorbing that, and so that can be a peace disturber if you're not paying attention to what you have going on in the house from a tech perspective. Um, Thinking about simplifying. Again, we're not necessarily talking about minimalism because there sometimes people have an aversion to minimalism. I always say I'm not a minimalist, but downsizing and decluttering don't necessarily mean minimalism, but they mean, again, reducing chaos, getting rid of things that cause stress. So consider if one of your challenges right now is keeping the dishes clean. A sink full of dishes can absolutely be stressful. It can be a reminder that you're not on top of all of the things that you need to be on top of in the home. But until you can get to the point where you can possibly be in control of the dishes and getting the dishes washed every day, consider paper plates, paper utensils. It might be a little more of an expense, but you also have to consider the offset of the expense for the peace that it brings you, the calm that it could potentially. Sorry, I need to cut off the heater. Um, the calm that something as simple as that could bring you until you can actually get control of keeping the dishes clean. Like it's sometimes it's an offset of simplifying to help you navigate the place of peace and the place of healing. Punishing yourself with looking at a sink full of dishes, and that's the reminder that you aren't in control of everything, isn't the route to go. So if there's a way um, to offset that that negative reminder, take it. It's an easy win until you can get to the point where you can actually handle it. One of the things that I think is underrated, absolutely, is making your bed. I am a everyday. Yeah, Robert is saying limiting the modern technology that's in your home. Absolutely, there are studies that say don't take your cell phone and don't have a TV in your bedroom. Obviously, that's a personal choice, but something to consider. There's a lot of data that supports that. But I was speaking about making your bed. To me, I'm an everyday bed maker. When I get out of the bed, I'm making my bed. To me, that's an easy win. And when it's a good start for me to my day. Like it automatically starts me off on a positive. My bed is made. I can win the rest of the day. And then when you come home, it is a win because the bedroom is clean. Your bed is made. That's a win. Like you're not leaving the house in a chaotic state, and you're, no matter what has happened in the day, if you've got that ritual where you leave the stuff at the door and you come in the house and the bed is made up, again a win. Excuse me. You're starting off on a good foot. You're starting off on a good foot. You come in and you're ending on a good foot. um, Rosalind says minimalism is none of my business. I am embracing essentialism. I love that. Absolutely. Then organizing your space. And so oftentimes we don't recognize that piles of paper, piles of bills, piles of things where you're kind of in a state of avoiding, and you're piling it up because you can't manage it right now. Those piles are still going to cause you anxiety as you're passing them. You know that pile is over there, kind of like you're avoiding looking at it, but the pile is over there, and there's some energy that's being exchanged with you in that pile. I always talk about, like, as much as I love elephants, I hate this saying, but when they say, how do you eat an elephant? Like chunk by chunk, like a, don't ever eat an elephant. But that saying has some merit to it, in that dealing with clutter is a step by step process. It's not something, especially if it's major clutter, it's not something that's going to happen overnight unless possibly you hire somebody to come in and help with that. This is going to be a process that you have to navigate slowly. And I see Audra is saying, decluttering has caused me emotional distress because it brings up so much past emotions, and it's not my clutter. I remain mindful of my purpose for decluttering, and that sees me through. Decluttering can be stressful. Like the piles of paper, it might be a reminder you're not in the best financial space to deal with those things. The piles of bills or whatever's going on. There's often stress involved in it. But there's also, like what I was just saying, dealing with it chunk by chunk. If it's bills that you're avoiding, is there a way to get on a payment plan with whatever you're avoiding? Is there a way, if you have to consider things like bankruptcy, those types of things, to get yourself right? And I'm not a financial expert, so I'm not encouraging you to file bankruptcy, but those things are out there to help people get back on the right footing versus the avoidance that is going to harm you mentally, emotionally, and ultimately physically. We all know that stress can kill, stress can cause strokes, um, stress can cause heart disease, stress can cause death. Stress can cause a lot of things that are harmful if we don't get ahead of it. So we've also talked about, so we talked to Christine, the Afro minimalist. We talked about, I'm going to drop the link for my previous conversation with Christine. I'm going to make sure I include that in the video description as well. We always talk about her book, The Afro Minimalist Guide to Living with Less. I'm going to drop the link for that as well. That book we've talked about, like I said, with Christine, that goes into some of the reasoning behind why it's so hard to declutter, why we hold on to things, why we as a community, the Black community, why we hold on to things, what the psychology is behind that, and then how to work through that. So I dropped both of those links, and then for those of you all in our Patreon group, we are going to be reading the Afro Minimalist Guide to Living with Less, first quarter of 2025 as a group. And then we will also have, pretty sure we'll be able to have Christine join us for a session or two in that conversation. So there's help to help you move through the process of decluttering, of downsizing. It's not, Crystal is saying, start at one room at a time. It's not an easy process, and you might not even get through one room at a time. You take your easy wins, clean a corner. If it is at that level, start with a corner, and grow that out, and celebrate your progress. But as you go through this process, it does become easier, and you'll also feel the lightness in the process that helps you move through this process to help you understand why it's worthy of going through the process. Robert is saying he's a guy, make my bed occasionally. I don't think that being a guy has anything to do with why you should make your bed, but okay, well, I've never been a guy, don't plan to be a guy, so I'm going to have to let you have the one right now. Rosalind dropped a tip of her printer scanner combo is at her front door, and she can scan almost everything and digitize it if she needs to access it later. That's an excellent way to get rid of paper. Paper can pile up. If you get a lot of mail, by the end of the week, paper can pile up and be so very overwhelming. That's what Crystal is saying. Paper is a clutter magnet. Deal with mail ASAP. Pay it, file it, trash it. Move your bills to paperless if you can. Absolutely. Those are some tips to consider. Crystal is also saying a made bed resets your mind and starts your day off with a clean slate. It ends your day with a welcoming space to retreat to. Absolutely. Viola is saying my mom taught us that at an early age. My mother was a make your bed person too. I appreciated that. Rosa says she's not an everyday bed maker. She's a bed smoother. We'll accept that. Baby steps. We're gonna take that. So absolutely, I appreciate that. So that's the first tip. For the home of healing and of peace. Declutter. Reduce your chaos. Hi V. So that is a major step. Take it easy. Rome wasn't built in a day. But make sure you are addressing it so it doesn't overcome you. So it doesn't overwhelm you. Ella saying organization can be a symbol of an organized mind and life. Absolutely. And I shared that earlier, how if my home is unorganized, that is a direct clue to my state of mind. And anyone who knows me should be able to pick up on that quickly, that if I don't have my stuff together, my home reflects that. So, all right, so decluttering, reduce the chaos. I dropped some resources, the link to my conversation with Christine Platt, the Afro Minimalist. That will be in the comments, in the description as well. I dropped a link to her book, The Afro Minimalist Guide to Living with Less. If you are interested, if you're not already a member of Patreon, we will, in the Patreon community, be reading her book together first quarter 2025. So join us there. My intent is to have Christine join us, and I'm sure that she will. So, all right. So the first tip. Hi, Teresa. The first tip, decluttering. Reduce some of your chaos. That's going to benefit you by lowering your tension, your anxiety, helping you to be a calmer person, a happier person. It's going to help your home by creating a home of healing, a home of peace, decluttering. And then the second tip I have in creating a home of healing and of peace is kind of a back way into the decluttering process. So if right now things are kind of out of control in the home and you've got to work through getting to the decluttering, kind of the piece by piece, the chunk by chunk, carve out just a space. Even if you even if it takes, pushing stuff out of this one space. It could be a corner in the room. It could be a closet. A lot of people have a meditation closet or a prayer closet. This is carving out a space of your larger effort of decluttering. Create a space that is this space of healing and peace, this one space. Hold on to that space. Make that space off limit to others. Like, this is your special, sacred, private space to help you reduce the outside noise. This is this one space where if everything else is kind of out of control in the home, this is the one space that you can go and breathe. You can meditate. You can catch your breath. You can sit for a few minutes, be in this space of healing, be in this place of peace, and then go out and tackle the other things. Like, you've got to have this, if your home at this point isn't the place of healing and peace, if it isn't the entire home at this point isn't the refuge, one space, one small space, y'all see my nails, one small space that can be identified as the place, so that you can go and collect your thoughts and help you manage dealing with the rest of the things that you're working on. This place has to be the same way, like when I talked about creating a ritual at the door where you're not letting work stuff or conflict in the home. This space has to be set up just like that. Outside of this area, can be noisy, can be messy, it can be all of the things. It can be the larger space that you're working on, but this special space is dedicated to you, into helping you be able to have this place of healing and have a place of peace. So Robert said it can be a man cave or a she shed. Absolutely. But if you don't have a space that large, again, consider a corner of a room. Consider, maybe it's the bathroom. You go in the bathroom, you take a bath, this is your place that you have organized, that you can go and spend some time, 10, 15, 20 minutes to go in there and decompress. The corner of a room, the bathroom, a closet that you clean out, that you focus on. Maybe it's not in the house. Maybe it's a chair that you have sitting outside the house that is under a tree. I created a space in my new location to sit outside underneath a tree. This space that is reserved for your peace, for your healing, for your care. You know that if you go into this space, you have the opportunity to reset so that you can deal with the things that are outside of this space. So that's tip number 2, carving out a space. If the bigger picture is chaotic everywhere, creating a small space that allows you to push out this small space is clear, and that gives you this small space reinforces you. There's another R word I was looking for. I can't think of it right now. But it gives you the energy so that once you're out of the space, you can go deal with the chaos in the other areas. But it reinforces is all I can think of right now. It gives you the energy to step out of that space and deal with a little bit of clutter over here, and keep carving away, keep chipping away at the bigger picture of decluttering. So, second tip, carve out a space. Fortner's Garden said a cluttered environment and cluttered mind are most definitely interrelated. Both reflect on and off each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. This special space. And then my third tip for your home being a place of healing and peace is incorporating your favorite things. Healing and peace is often also associated with decor. If the things are in the house aren't reflective of peace and healing, then you can't expect the space to be peaceful and healing. So if there's decor that needs to be removed, again, decluttering, Things that that remind you of a not so happy space and time, get rid of it. Like, don't have those things as reminders in the home. Um, Negative reminders, get rid of them. Um, Decor, colors matter. The paint colors that you're using, those type things also contribute to a calm and peaceful mind. Um, Painting isn't my favorite thing to do, but it is one thing that you can do kind of inexpensively. Um, Paint isn't always that expensive. You can go check out most of the big box companies have paint corners where people have had them mix some paint and it didn't end up being something they purchased, and so they'll sell that even cheaper. Paint is a quick fix to decor. So consider your color schemes. Update your paint to help lend to incorporating your favorite things and to help it lend itself to this place of healing and peace. For me, music is big. I have had this for years. The way I have my music set up in my Apple Music, I have a morning playlist. Songs that I listen to in the morning to keep to get my energy, get my mind right. A morning playlist. I actually have a playlist that's labeled peace that I listen to. Just songs that I know I want to hear in my space, songs that build my energy, that help with my healing. Yesterday, on Stephanie's channel, she interviewed Tony Jones, who is, I forgot her title, what she called herself, but she does affirmations with music. She had a specific name. You'll know how my brain is working right now. But music that's going to something going on in the house. Again, this is to offset the mindless TV that's not necessarily encouraging and feeding your soul. This is things that you may not be listening to at 100%, but as they're playing in the background, they're nourishing you, they're feeding your soul. So consider the music that you have going on in the house. And I'm not talking about now, I'm all things rap and hip hop. I listen to all of it. I even listen to the explicit lyrics. So I'm not the anti um, rap person, but I also know that there is a time and place for what I listen to and the types of things that I listen to in my home. And so keep that in mind, because even if it's playing in the background, it is being absorbed. And so you want to focus on that. Your lighting is also important. Rejuvenate. Was that the word I was trying to think of? That might have been. Thank you, Rosalind. I appreciate you. I got to come back to that. I think that was the word. Thank you. Um, Making sure that your lighting is correct. So my daughter laughs, and I've realized that this is a black household thing. I didn't recognize it until just recently. Like, I don't really do overhead lights. um, Overhead lights, that lighting, that white light, is not soothing to my soul. And my daughter has absorbed that habit as well, because, like, growing up in my house, don't cut that light on. I've usually got some lamps, some softer lights. I will go through a whole exercise in light bulbs with Lowe's. Light bulbs are returnable as long as you're careful with them, to make sure I have the right light bulbs in my house. So lighting matters. That's important. Your paint colors matter. Your decor matters. Your music matters. Lighting matters. Um, and then bringing nature on the inside. Like, it's important to be outside. We talked about maybe that's where you create your safe space, and it is my intention with this new location I've moved to be more outside. And I can do that without the danger of some wild animal eating me. Um, but bring nature in. Plants contribute to your oxygen you're breathing in the home, and so bring some plants in. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of my plants with my move because they had to sit in the addition, and the temperature wasn't right for them, so I lost a lot of my plants, but I still have some. But plants are they're living, breathing things that contribute to your well-being, so consider plants. I mentioned Tony Jones, who she's on Spotify and Amazon Music with her affirmations, her spoken word affirmations. But you all know in my house, I also have written affirmations, plaques throughout the house, things that as you're moving through your space and your eyes land on them, whatever it says is a reminder to that contributes to your peace, that contributes to your healing, that contributes to your well-being. That's important. I don't know if you all were being Mary Jane watchers, and she always had the affirmations on Post-its. I'm not necessarily advocating for that if it contributes to your clutter, but things like that that keep you on point, that remind you of the things that you're focusing on, to reset the mindless, the chatter that you can sometimes have going on in your head, to help you stop and stay focused on what it is that you need to be focused on. Teresa is saying some people have OCD, have to remove everything in the area and clean the area completely before they can move anything. Yeah, so I'm not necessarily speaking to OCD. Like, absolutely, nothing I'm talking about is a medical diagnosis. Um, Folks who have OCD do have to go through different rituals and processes with their decluttering, and though that is outside of the things that I can speak to, so I'm not speaking to that. Absolutely recognize that decluttering in a space is a different conversation for someone with OCD. Valencia says it's a space to remember the truth of who you are, to breathe life back into yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. For me, I have, like, I'm still not staying in the house. Hopefully the power issue that is impacting the plumbing issue will be fixed. I'm hoping tomorrow. Like, I'd hope that would happen today. We've got bad weather, so I'm assuming the electrician can't work today. But I'm hoping first of the week, hopefully tomorrow, that will be corrected so I can stay in the house. But I have been going home. Like, the tiny house is mostly organized, but I have gone home. Like, my house calls me so I can sit and be in peace, and that is my space, and that is what my house represents for me. And that is for me, one of the beauties of being able to move my house to another location. Like, I still get to take this sanctuary, this place of peace, with me to this new location. My house is absolutely a reminder of the truth of who I am, and it breathes life into me. As does this. This is my co-working space, and so today I'm staying at a friend's house, but I wanted to get up. I'm working on my thoughts and stuff for moving into 2025, and some meditation work, some things I need to work on for me. And this is the space I wanted to be in, or home to be in, to do this work. If the weather clears up, I'll actually be going home to do this work. I will be in my house, even if I'm not staying there. I will be in my house New Year's Eve and into the first of the year, because that's important to me, to be in that space that kind of holds me. It's like a blanket. And so when we're talking about incorporating favorite things, and when I mentioned carving out that space for you, having things that bring you comfort, a favorite blanket, smells, that's important to me. Aromatherapy is a valuable thing for healing, and sentimental things that remind you of people that you want to hold near and dear to you. I'm not saying something that is going to cause you grief, but things, sentimental things that are, not stressful or not painful to you. Incorporate those, in your home, so that they are also parts of the healing and the peace. And for me, the things that I just mentioned, like, music and smells and things like that, I actually travel with those types of things. I will will travel with a plug-in. I have some scents to me that just are kind of, centering and grounding. I will travel with a plug-in. I will travel with, small, room sprays, like the travel size. My music always travels with me. I will take a candle with me, things like that. That is in San Miguel. I was there for 3 weeks, so I definitely had that stuff because I know I want to be centered. I want to write. I want to, read. I want to relax, and those are the things. Those add-ons are the things that are healing and peaceful for me, and so I will travel with them. I make them a big part of my home, but I also travel with them because those are the things, like Valencia was just saying, that breathe life into me. So, they're a key part of my home, but also part of my, the way I travel. Um, Oh, thank you, Coach Donna Marie. Join your Patreon. We'll see you Tuesday evening. Looking forward to that. So Tuesday evening, what Coach Donna Marie is speaking to, for the Patreon community. We got together. Was it Christmas Eve? We got together. And then we'll also be getting together New Year's Eve for a couple of hours. And so if you're in the Patreon community, that is, a Patreon perk, an offering for the Patreon community. So the link is there, for you all to, for us to connect on Tuesday evening. And Crystal is saying her favorite things equal peace: candles, photos, decor, crystals, absolutely, colors, your art, etc. Sophia is saying feng shui. I'm considering color and placements of things more now. Absolutely. The I'm chuckling because the order of things in your house, like, that's really, really important to you. Just the way that you move about, like, if things aren't orderly, and I feel like that's feng shui is about placement, relative to, like, the earth. So it's not exactly what I'm talking about, but there is, I remember when I first built my tiny house, I couldn't figure out where I wanted my kitchen trash can to go. And as simple as that sounds, it was something that was really throwing me off. Like, the way I would move around in the kitchen just didn't make sense for where I had the trash can. I'm not a under the cabinet trash can kind of person. And so it was like the size of the trash can, placement of the trash can, and that really was throwing me off. And it sounds so trivial, but it was also a big part of, and I don't think it's OCD. It is being particular, but just the way I moved about my kitchen in the order of how I needed to move in the kitchen. That was a big thing for me. And I finally figured it out, and it works just fine. But that was the order of things, in your home contributes to your healing and to your peace. And then there's the feng shui. And there's some books around that, and information obviously on the internet and YouTube to, help you move through that stuff. Um, soothing music, making playlists for different vibes and moods. Robert is saying, don't forget to add on Zen music. Absolutely. There's all types of music that is healing and calming. I know folks listen to Buddhist chants, things that, and it, what it is for you that builds your energy, that heals and soothes your energy. That's the thing that you should be focused on. Rachel is saying peace into all here. Let's make 2025 a year of renewal and restoration, mind, body, and spirit. Absolutely. That is the intent. So me going into 2025, my daughter was just talking to me about this. Like, it has always been a big thing for me for my house to be clean. Like, laundry has to be done, house clean, all of the things before the new year sets in. I used to be a go out on New Year's Eve type of person, and now I'm more of a home person. Or if I'm spending time with people, it absolutely has to be with people that I intend to spend time with in 2025, like not mindless out with random folks. To me, it's very important of how I use that time to set myself up for 2025. And so that is absolutely kind of why I wanted to have this conversation in to share these tips for you all, because the preparation of setting yourself up, just like Rachel said, setting yourself up for success is so important. And so setting yourself up for the success of 2025. And we've spoken about how with the changes that will be happening throughout the country as new stuff takes over, and I'm not giving energy to that, but we have to set ourselves up accordingly to have the resources that we need for renewal and restoration. Our home should be those places so that when you need to shut off the noise of the outside world, that you can be in a place of peace and healing in your home. If it has to be a small space that you're carving out, I feel like that's important for your car too. Like right now, my car is a whole mess because I've been moving back and forth, and it's got red mud in it because I'm moving back and forth. But know that on the last day of this month, my car will be getting washed and cleaned out, because that's also important for me. Like, these are the things that I do to set myself up for success. So absolutely. I like that. Multiple playlists. I have those as well. KM is saying, I finally repainted my cabinets the old color black. Felt like the last homeowners were still here. And sometimes you have to do that to claim or reclaim a space. Especially so if you can't move, like if considering a home that maybe you are now, maybe there was a former relationship and that no longer is the case, and you still live in that space. Reclaiming that space. You don't always have the opportunity, or you don't always want to move. But sometimes reclaiming that space is what is necessary so that it becomes yours. Something as simple as repainting the cabinets. And we talked about that earlier, how paint is cheap. And the effort of painting is red is one of the colors that gives me heartache every time I'm trying to paint, but you can get it done if you prime it. But painting is, unless you're dealing with a small space with a lot of intricate cuts and things, painting can be cathartic. A wall, that's an easy one, and can add so much to the personality of the space, the healing of the space. So consider that, reclaiming the space. Absolutely, Fortner's Garden. I know all the words. I think I shared on social media that I think my mother learned that I could cuss like a sailor when I was 17 or 18 years old. And so once she knew that, like it was, I was good then. If my mama knows, then it don't, and nobody else matters. And so, absolutely, um, the some of the newer rap, like I can't, I don't know what, I can't get with it. But absolutely, I am of the age of NWA and Snoop and all of the things, Tupac, Biggie, all of those things. So yes, explicit lyrics. I I can get with it. Now, again, I have just said that you have to know when to listen to that. If I'm not in the place where I can listen and it not be absorbed into my spirit negatively, then I don't listen. But I am not the one to look down on folks who like explicit lyrics. Um, One of the Whisper song, I always laugh at this story. I have a friend who never knows the lyrics to music. She just listens to the beat. And this was before I moved here, so it was like 2004. My good friend Sabrina, and she came to work one day and was singing the Whisper Ying Yang, I think it's Ying Yang Twins Whisper song, and I knew she had been listening to it on the radio station, and I knew she had no idea what they were talking about. So I asked her, I was like, do you actually know what they're saying? Of course, she was listening to the radio version. So I said, you might want to listen to that. She had a small child at the time. So I said, you might want to listen to that. And so she giggles about it right now to this day, how I had to clue her into what what that song was about, because she never knew that side of stuff. Um, JW is saying a lamp light is more soothing. Absolutely. Do not cut on the overhead lights in my house. Crystal saying lighting sets the tones and moods as well. Harsh lights can make you feel on edge, while soft lighting can bring ease and calm. Absolutely. Oh, Robert is sharing a tip that Prince made some of his greatest hits with perfect lighting. That makes sense. Um, that makes sense. Let's see what else. Um, McGuire, am I saying that right? I'm so grateful I came across this. I really needed this. I have had a very dark year. I'm glad you came across it too. I'm sorry for your very dark year, but I'm hoping that 2025 brings some lightness and some peace. And that is what we work on in this community. So welcome. I hope you'll continue to join us, and I hope that you've found some tips here to help bring some light into 2025. Some, it doesn't have to be big steps. It doesn't have to be expensive steps. Some of it can be baby steps to help you bring yourself into some light. And so I'm wishing that for you. Oh, yeah. Rosalind is talking when I was talking about being Mary Jane, and she had the post-its everywhere. Yeah, it was way too much for me, but it worked for her. Okay, WLJ, I like that. Doing the work to heal. Then sometimes, like you're right. Sometimes it's the people that are in the home that are bringing chaos, and you can't get rid of them. Um, that is why it is a corner, carving out a corner. Maybe that corner has to be in the car. I mentioned having that space outside the house, a closet, a prayer closet, a meditation closet. Maybe it has to be in the car where you can sit in the car and regather yourself for a few minutes to avoid the chaos and recenter yourself and rejuvenate. Thank you, Rosalind, and then be able to go back and tackle that. Um, Yes, Crystal. Yes, yes, yes. Um, Cynthia saying she just watched a documentary on the hidden dangers of blue light LEDs effect on children in classrooms. Yeah, they talk about that from your computers and how you should step away and glasses to filter that. Um, absolutely. Hi, Evelyn. Happy Sunday to you. Um, Crystal saying I like a good dark moody vibe, yet also like a bright all windows open sunshine coming in vibe. I for resting darkness like especially when I stay like in a hotel or somewhere where they have the blackout curtains. Oh my God, I forgot where I was on one trip and didn't realize the blackout curtains were closed, and I think I was about to sleep all day. I didn't even realize it was what time it was. So yes, I agree that sometimes you need those to re-energize yourself. For me, I can feel like gray days. I've shared with you all, gray days and rain aren't my best. And if it's continually gray and rainy, that will start to impact my mood. And I can feel an immediate mood shift. I was talking to Tracy one day last week, and I was kind of I think it's melancholy early on in the day, and I started feeling later on. I started feeling my energy shift, and the sun had come out, and so immediately um, I felt the shift as the sun came out. That is how I get my energy for sure. Thank you, Rosalind. I am praying the same. Praying the same. That is exactly what I want to do. Be in my home. Um, Teresa saying peace in your home is very essential to your mental health. It helps you de-stress and keeps you grounded. Absolutely. Um, Teresita is, believe it or not, the air is so important. Absolutely. My neighbor has contaminated my air. I'm sorry to hear that. Absolutely. The air in your home, opening the windows, plants help with the air in the home, oxygenation, oxidization, what one of those words, y'all, the oxygen that they release. Um, Maybe if you can, I also have a air filter that pulls stuff out of the air. Maybe you can invest in that. I'm okay with reporting folks when stuff is negatively impacting me. Opening the windows. Or maybe even if you can offset it with burning candles, incense. I don't know if you do incense, but things like that to offset what's happening. Hopefully that can be a stopgap to help you that. But air is absolutely important. Hi, Mara Mac. Um, Rosalind said she made chicken and dumplings last night. Matt reminded her of her grandmother. Thank you, Evelyn. Essential oils, burning essential oils. Uh, that's very in the good sense. Like you have to be careful with what you're burning, but making sure it is healing. Aromatherapy is so important for um, healing. Absolutely. Crystal saying sage is one of her favorites. I'll burn some sage in a minute to get stuff cleared out and reset the energy. I agree with that. Uh, all right, let's see. What else do we have? Mara saying she travels with her scents and smells too. I'm glad. Royal said where to put the trash container is huge for me too. Like that really was throwing me off. Um, those are my tips. The decluttering, reducing the chaos, carving out a space, small space, a closet, a corner, your car, a space outside the home, so that you can have one space, if it's not the larger home, one space where you can go and reset and re energize and have that place of healing and peace until you can get it on a broader scale. That's really important. And then the third piece, incorporating your favorite things, a favorite blanket, some favorite smells, some pictures, those things to help you have a space for healing and peace. Um, Robert is recommending the Harlem Candle Company. It's black owned. Thank you, Robert. Um, um, Teresa saying, "I'm glad you mentioned reclaiming your space. It's so key. Reclaiming your is so key to reclaiming your peace in your space. Absolutely. Um, Something as um, clearing out a space, clearing out the energy from, it could be from a person, it could be from an event, it could be from a conversation. If you've had to have a conversation in your space that was heavy, that you feel like the remnants of that, the essence of that conversation is still in the space, opening the windows, burning some candles, like getting energy is so important. I've shared that with you all before. Like I believe so much in the energy that people carry, that things carry. That's important. That's why I'm very particular about who I allow in my home. Energy is important. In clearing out energy um, with things like incense, with um, sage, opening windows to let the breeze out, to let fresh air in. That is the reclaiming of space, and clearing out energies that are heavy, that are causing distress in a space. And that's so absolutely so important. Um, um, Melinda, welcome. I'm looking forward to you being a future tiny home owner. Welcome. Hi, Linda. Yes, please like, sub, share, and support. Um, Sophia is saying, my mom raised us to clean house, clear out the old or unused for the new year. Um, New Year's Eve is her born day. I personally like to start my new life cycle on a clear note. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Let's see. Oxygenation. Yeah, that was the word. Thank you. Y'all, I have already shared. Y'all know what my with my word challenges. So I appreciate you all helping me out with my words. So Valencia is saying, I added an N to your name. I don't think I'm saying your name right. Valencia? Maybe that's what I should be saying, not Valencia, because there's not an N in your name. It's saying, choose artwork and photos carefully. One of my mom's friends removed a family photo from her home and replaced it with photo members that made her feel loved and connected. Absolutely. There should be nothing in your home that causes that. Sometimes you can't get rid of the people, but there should be nothing in your home that causes you distress and concern. Photos, things that can be moved out. Maybe you can't get rid of them, but they can go out in the shed. They can go to somebody else's house. If it's causing you distress, it needs to go. Things that are in your home should be, and if you can do that with the people, I suggest doing it with the people too. Um, that your house should be a place of healing and a place of peace. Absolutely, Crystal. Thank you. Um, and there is so much to be said for you proactively creating that space. And that is when people talk about self-care, so much is the conversation is now on self-care. That those are key. And we're not talking about, going to get a massage. We're talking about the care of self in making your home the place that is holding you and taking care of you. Um, so, excuse me, that's really, really important. Teresa, Teresita, I think is, um, I see you saying you bought a air filter. I'm hoping you find some peace and release there. Key, we are hoping that you feel better soon. Glad to see you in the chat, but I hope you feel better. All right. Paula Santos, absolutely. Teresa's very welcome, very welcome. Evelyn says, last October, I took over a full room for my spiritual space. People know not to bring any negative energy into the space. I'm in it now. That's beautiful. Viola's saying I live alone. I there's some benefit to that. Everybody can't do it. Everybody can't get rid of the folks in their house, but you can carve out a little space and bring you some healing and peace in that little space. Hi to the new names and people in the chat. Welcome. Thank you for saying hello. I am glad that you all are here. Crystal, take care. Good to see you. Hope to talk to you soon. All right, that's all I have for you all today. Absolutely, Rosalind. That's what I have for you all today. Creating a home for healing and peace. Gave you some tips to do it. There were a lot of good tips from the community. This is the care that we want to, as I keep talking about, holding tight to our joy. We're going to need to hold on tight to our joy. And as I talk about this, it's all things that I know I have to do for myself. And so in sharing this, we have to keep each other encouraged and share things that we're doing that we find helps us, and then we therefore can help each other. So my tips: decluttering, reducing your chaos, carving out that space, whatever that looks like. It could be 10-15 minutes in the bathroom. It could be going to sit in your car, going to sit in a chair outside, going to sit in your meditation corner, your prayer closet, whatever it is. That small space, a chair that you have in the corner. Put yourself in time out in that carved out space where you can go and recenter and reset. And then incorporating your favorite things. Like we have to take care of our mental, emotional, spiritual selves, our physical selves, so that we can be good contributors to the world, so that we can be there for other people, so that we can be there for ourselves. And if we aren't taking care of ourselves, then we can't do any of that other stuff. So you have to remember the priority of taking care of ourselves and making our homes and our spaces healing and peaceful. So Gabrielle, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the replay. Hello to the folks that will watch the replay. Thank you so much for your support. Same, wishing everybody a safe week this week with New Year's Eve, New Year's. We are focused on our joy and all the things in 2025. And for the Patreon folks, thank you. Tamara is how I pronounce it. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Patreon folks, I will talk to you on New Year's Eve. If you're not a member of Patreon, please join us. We will be getting together. We get together on Zoom, so it's more of a conversation and less of me chatting to you all. Even though you're very active in the comments, it is an opportunity for us to interact and engage more on a one-on-one basis. So join us on Patreon if you aren't there already. And I look forward to seeing you all next week, our first Sunday in 2025. And thank you all very much, as always, for joining me here. I appreciate you all so much, the Soul Collective community. And we'll be talking to you all soon. Take care.